Afternoon. What's new? Look, I've just been putting my mind to what's happening around the place with the carbon tax about to go into law in just a few days' time as we approach the end of the financial year. And putting my mind to thinking what this is actually going to mean in terms of a lot of our businesses and world of innovation in general. Hopefully we will see, and I know this is rampantly optimistic, but a reduction in the amount of politics that's going on around it. I don't necessarily mean politics at the level of politicians. I mean, look, that's their job. They're welcome to it. I'm actually thinking politics at the corporate level and at the level of innovation inside our enterprises. Look, I actually had one of the members, and I will not mention their name, of the carbon tax pricing expert advisory group to the PM, who actually said to me that the incentives in the way the program had been put together were wrong because they have created about 2 years' worth of positioning by major corporates of the fact that there is indeed no answer that can be found and no possible way that they can reduce emissions and no investments that they could possibly make to reduce emissions. It's all been argy-bargy around around compensation. It's all been about compensation because the platform that they can get put in for compensation for them in the short, medium and long term will set their competition. It's another form of government funding, this compensation thing. Unfortunately, it's another non-level playing field, and that's just what you don't want in an innovation environment. Now, look, I understand the need for it. It needed to be there. It needed to get us through this transitional phase. Without it, there would be way too much pain. My fervent hope is that we're through that now and governments start to take a bit more of a hard nose, but also a bit more of an optimistic and visionary look at what comes next. I think that what comes next has been, phew, we're through that, at least it's done. But I think we need to look and say, okay, legislation's in place, the compensation is in place. Sorry, Mr. Motorbike. The compensation is in place. I think the government needs to take another look at this and take another visionary look at where we're at the moment and where we're moving from here. The legislation's in place, tick, well done. Compensation's in place and the businesses who are affected are not screaming blue murder, tick, well done there, that's fine. What's going to happen now that the politics, again, corporate politics, is reduced somewhat and people getting on with it is we will start to get, and we're already seeing signs of this within industry, people looking way more seriously and way more intently at where they can start to save money under the trading scheme. That means there is actually going to be somewhat of the desired effect of people starting to put investment dollars into reducing the payments that they need to make under this scheme. What I'm calling for is a response by government to actually help this process. Okay, there have been compensation mechanisms and structure put in place. Time to come clean. Let's get the whole playing field completely transparent all the way through. All of the subsidies and support and structural help that has happened in order to get the transitional organisations across the line. But more than that, let's go right across industry. Bit controversial coming here. Let's go right across industry and look at all of the different mechanisms that are in place to support and assist individual industries because they have been deemed strategic. This needs to be in the public domain. I think it is increasingly important that there is a level of public debate about which industries we should be supporting, why we're supporting, what level of public funds are going into this, in order to enable a clearer long-term view of where industries should be investing in innovation in order to move things forward. Let me give you an example. If the car industry is ever going to get to the point where it needs to stand on its own 2 feet, the only way that will ever be politically expedient move to do is if the public is fully informed about where compensation stands in relation to that industry and where that stands in relation to all other industries. So calling on government to come clean, bring it to the front, let's see what the facts are, and let industry and the public work on it from there. Thanks. See ya.